And so you just want to make sure that on the left-hand side is all of your fields where you can enter the information. And you just want to go through and make sure that everything is appropriate to you and all of the fields are entered correctly. And then the other thing that you want to do as a best practice is send it to yourself. There has been a delay, which Miranda also highlighted early in an earlier conversation I had with her. There has been a delay in which the SMART plans go out. So send the SMART plan to yourself first. Do not send it out to anyone until you physically get it and go through it. So I'm gonna stop talking for a minute to see if there are any specific questions around the 5 SMART plans or SMART plans in general.
I got one real quick. I haven't done the Promote My app. I guess I could download it and send it to myself, but can you just briefly tell me what that does? Is it a text?
Yes. So hold on, let me, I'll show you the shortcut. So let me go back and refresh this. So give me just a moment.
Okay. While she's doing that, Steve, I didn't know you were supposed to customize them. So I got really excited after my open house and put everyone on a SMART plan. And it never came to me until a day later when I realized everything said my phone number, my name was XXX.
Oh yeah, I don't think I've done that either. So I'm glad
I didn't know that. So everyone in my database that is new got SMART plans that don't say shit.
Oh geez. Well, I don't know if I've done one that has a text message yet. Is that what it was? A text message? Because I need to start doing those. I think I did that.
I downloaded my top 20 favorites. I just kind of read through them and a few.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, but you just add 20 to your library. And it was like, could you please refer me? Here's my app. Neighborhood nurture. Like you just choose based on the person. But they didn't come to me till after I'd sent them to everyone else. So
so just make sure that in that situation, number one, you go through all of the fields. And so to your point, the first thing you want to do is look at view steps. The view steps will give you a dial down in terms of what it includes. So this one includes an email, a delay, and then a text message, another delay, another text message. You can always go in and customize those. But again, just want to stress that when you send it to yourself as the test, don't do anything until you physically get it. Then once you look at it, make sure it's correct. If you need to edit it, do that, and then send it out. So just give yourself, some extra cushion before you do that. So that's a quick way.
We'll get a notification, right, that says now it's time to text that person. It doesn't do an auto text.
Well, let me back up. If you have a SMART plan that has a text capability to it, once you put that person on a SMART plan and you send it, it's automatically going to go out. So in order for you to make sure that everything is correct, send it to yourself first, check it, and then send it out, because it's going to automatically send it. Once you go into a SMART plan and hit send, it's going to automatically send it.
So is it better for me to unsubscribe everyone and sign them back up after I've tweaked them?
I would do that. I would go into them depending on how you flag them. If you flag them, and then go in and unsubscribe them. And then when your next cycle of your communication goes out, then I would make sure that's the one that they get. So I would take them off of that old one that has the missing information. And then basically you can also copy what you have and then just do a new title or whatever. And then, basically remove them from that and add them to the new one.
Okay. Sounds like fun. Thank you.
It's not that bad. I know it sounds bad, but it's not that bad. So,
okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions about the SMART plan per se? All right, so I'm going to jump into campaigns. Campaigns is the bullhorn. So within campaigns, the key thing that I want to stress is that in order for you to maximize campaigns, i.e. the paid ads within Command, you want to make sure you have your business Facebook page. How many of you have a business Facebook page and also have a cover page done and at least 1 or 2 posts already in your Facebook business page.
I found
Posts, no posts.
The business platform, Facebook platform, looks so different from the normal consumer Facebook. So I started one, but I haven't done my. I don't use Facebook much anyway. I'm more on Instagram as a social media platform. But yeah, it looks so different. Like it was a struggle to set it up too, for whatever reason. It made me feel old.
So it is a little different, and it has changed in the last couple months. But what I would tell you, just from being able to capitalize on the algorithm, I would use it just for that. You know, to your point, I don't use Facebook a lot. I use Instagram. So I understand that. But I think in terms of being able to capitalize on the paid ad portion in Facebook, it's a no-brainer for you to at least have it up and running. The one thing that I would stress is making sure that you have at least 1 or 2 posts. So when you send out any information, definitely before you even send your first communication, you want to make sure that you've got at least 1 or 2 posts already, because there's nothing from an outsider perspective, especially even if you're new to real estate, it's comforting to when you send people to a Facebook page that it actually has something on there. Even if it's just 1 or 2 posts, it's better to have 1 or 2 posts than just 0 posts. Because then they're like, okay, you know, it just helps them to anchor them. Yeah. So just make sure you do that. A couple of things I want to highlight for the paid ads. So this is your dashboard. For those of you that are unfamiliar with it, it has some training links at the bottom. And then at the top, it just gives you, like, if you have paid ads, it tells you if you have it connected. If you've got any responses, it'll show up here in terms of connected accounts. And then 2 things that I want to call out. Number 1, if you haven't set up your Facebook business page, please do that. If you haven't set up your payments, click on payments and go through that and register, you know, whatever credit card you want to have on file. So then there's 2 distinctions. There's the paid ad portion, which that capitalizes on the algorithm that Keller Williams has with Google. And then you have social posts. The one thing that I do want to say is that email portion and the direct email portion, I would encourage you to not focus on that at this time. The email templates and formats are really not at a place where you can utilize them and actually gain really good traction. Number 1, you have to go back to what are you trying to communicate and how are you going to do that? And the emails and the direct mail campaign are not at that live stage ready to be out and to be able to have a polished professional image, in my opinion. So I would encourage you that if you're thinking about doing some sort of email campaign, that you focus on smart plans, or if you really want to do some sort of monthly newsletter or something like that, you can always use Mailchimp and our Constant Contact. If you use Mailchimp, you can connect your Mailchimp to Command, and you can create the document in Mailchimp, and then you could send it out of Command. And so you can ping me, email me, and I could walk you through how to do that. I'm actually going to do a Loom video probably in the next couple of days, just a really quick tip, and then I'll put it in the Week at a Glance, and then that'll be a Loom video that you can watch and basically learn how to take that Mailchimp document that you created, add it or embed it in Command, and send it from Command. So a couple of things I want to highlight. For social posts, I would encourage you to utilize, whether you're using Instagram and or Facebook, I would encourage you to use the social posts here. These are the free portions. So for the social post, the key thing to know is, so at the bottom, it says creative post. So I'm just going to click on it really quick. You add your text, whatever that text is, you add your photos. Keep in mind where it says add a link, you can do an add a link. From photos, you can choose, you can basically create a design within Command and upload that design. So that could add to your picture. So you have your text, your picture, and then whatever else you want. So you can piggyback or combine designs and campaigns to make sure you have a unified message. The other thing is this at the bottom, you can drag the logo if you wanted to, you can change it out. Where it says include my ownership statement, you definitely want to include that from a compliance standpoint. Where it says schedule post or publish immediately, this is the reason why I encourage you to use it, because then you can schedule out your posts. So you don't need a third party platform to be able to do a scheduler. You can actually schedule your posts in advance, which I do that all the time. I schedule all of my stuff out in advance. So my stuff gets posted to Instagram and I could be doing something else. So make sure you're taking advantage of this. This is free and it's going to save you time and money. I think Dustin's been on a class before where I talked about it, where, you know, for me, my day is Sunday. So for my business, I just sit at my computer on Sunday and I pre-post all my stuff for the week, or you can do 2 weeks at a time or 3 weeks or whatever you have time. I just dedicate Sunday, I do an hour and I just knock it out. And then that way throughout the week, I don't have to worry about it. All my posts are automatic. I post 6 days a week. But that's just because, you know, I want to be top of mind. And so that's something that you can do for free. Any questions about that part?
I have a quick question, if that's fine.
Yes.
So I think we've talked before, and you've talked about scheduling them out. I think a couple times though is one, it's a spontaneous share of another person's, or two, it's an article that, you know, you want to have it coming out from that day or the day before. How do you plan things that aren't going to be time specific or date specific? And then can you give an example of either what you did last week maybe, or if you were an agent, what would you do? Like what's some titles or subjects? I'm just kind of confused. I'm making it too complicated.
Absolutely. So let me help you. So number one, you can definitely utilize the pre-posting, but then how you capitalize on just spur of the moment stuff, or like, let's say, for example, something in the company huddle today inspired you, or you wanted to get that out. You can, if you're, you know, if you've got all of your socials on your smartphone, you can just, you know, add a text right then and there. There's no issue with that at all. So you can be versatile. So you don't have to let this pigeonhole you in terms of I've got to be so structured. I do that all the time where there's just a post that I want to do. For example, for me, I use Instagram more than I do Facebook. And so when I have like, you know, instant stuff or, you know, right now stuff that I want to post, a lot of times I will use my reel, highlight reel, and or my stories on Facebook to promote that. And for Facebook, it's just a general post. You can do that. I mean, the other thing that you may want to consider doing is if you've got a spur of the moment thing that you want to send out, take a quick video and just verbally say it and record yourself and then upload that to Facebook or upload that to Instagram. As it relates to agents in terms of topics, I'm going to tell you from my experience, key things that will stretch out your content, how to look for the best house, you know, how to do neighborhood searches, other things. What are some things that all first home buyers need to know? Number one, you know, things like understanding the neighborhoods in Hawaii, especially Maui. So you can break down, you know, Kihei, you know, upcountry. You can talk about upcountry life. You can talk about upcountry versus the West Side. Big thing is, you know, now in terms of how the tourists get here. So that's another thing for real estate. You know, how do you get here? What are the steps that you need to take? Those are all topics that you can generate at least 5 to 6 or even more different segments of a post. The other thing is, you know, in terms of for people that are first time home buyers, what are the 5 things that you need to do once you get your keys? You know, those things like that, you can stretch that content out for 5 different days in terms of the top 5 things you need to do. Or, you know, a year into their anniversary, what are the top things that you need to do from your 1-year anniversary of owning your own home? So those are some very good vetted topics. You could even get into specifics in terms of, you know, remodeling, you know, what's the strategy in terms of, you know, remodeling your home, or if you need a plumber, you know, what's the strategy for finding the best plumber for you? So there's so many different things that you could do. Dustin, I know you had your hand up.
I had a couple things, but on that note, like I've known there's little packs in Etsy that you can purchase that are like generic real estate specific, you know, the steps of a buying process, like all sorts of different stuff, like little like
Yeah.
pre-made, ready-made posts that you could then like, you know, customize a little bit for yourself.
Mhm.
So that's a resource for just content.
Exactly.
Justin,
Yes.
the fact you said Etsy is amazing and that you know that. I think that's so cool and I'm thoroughly impressed.
Thanks. Also, Latasha, can you link your so I have a real estate specific Instagram. Can I link that to my business Facebook?
Yes, so Facebook and Instagram, you can link those. So just make sure on the back end within on your Facebook page that you connect, make sure that you're connected or that you post or link both your Instagram and your Facebook. For me, I didn't link them on purpose for me because I like to have my content differently. So the people that follow me, I looked at my demographics. The people that follow me on Facebook, it's a different demographic than Instagram. So
Yeah.
I did not connect them for that purpose. But if you want to, yes, you would connect them on the Facebook side. And then once you connect your Facebook business page to Command, then it's going to give you the options to say, do you want to post this to Facebook or do you want to post this to Instagram?
So if I was posting though on my business specific Instagram, is there a feature that would allow it to post to my business Facebook?
Yes. So if you link them and then you're in Command, you have the option to choose which one you want to post to, or if you want to choose to both of them.
Okay, because I've done it with my like other Instagrams, but I wasn't sure if with a Facebook business, yada yada.
Yes.
Okay, I'll look into it, I guess.
Yes, and if you have any issues, let me know. But yes, and then to Dustin's point about Etsy, another resource for you is NAR. NAR has great content that you can take and apply it to Maui or Hawaii in general. Miranda?
I was just gonna mention to Steve that I look at some amazing top agents like in California for inspiration, and they don't know if we kind of not copy, but almost mirror the things that they're posting. So whoever you emulate or inspires you, look at what they're doing and just kind of tweak it a little bit and put it on your page.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And I don't know why I keep getting kicked out or something. I guess I don't know why. But so I guess my question too that I might have missed the answer was if you also all those topics sound amazing. Do you personally suggest writing like blog version, or are you saying take an article? And if you take an article, is it okay to like say Friday I want to release this article, but it was sent last week? Does anybody look at dates if it's fairly reasonable, recent information?
So a lot of people don't, necessarily look at the dates. Here's what I would say when you're posting. I would keep it short and concise to the point. So if you've got an article that you want to get out, I would parse that article out and do it in step formation and like give it to them kind of almost like a baby, like spoon feeding them. Because a lot of times if you give them way too much information, they're not going to retain it. But if you can parse out like the 3 top things that they need to know, you can still say, here's the article, if that's what you want to do. But then I would also keep it very short and say, here's the article, but here's what you need to know, because people respond better that way.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks, both of you. Those are great ideas. Thank you.
Okay. Awesome. Did you have another question or comment, Miranda? Your hand's still up. Okay. All right. All right. So designs. So a couple of things about designs. You can go into social. You hit the plus sign. So let me back up. So here is your driver's guide, if you will. You can do email campaigns, landing pages, social, print, agent site. Once you build out your agent site, you can go in here and that's where you edit your agent site. So all of these landing pages that are on your agent site, you can go in and edit those. And then videos. So then let's do social really quick. Social plus social next. Couple of things I want to highlight, and then we're going to move on to consumer app because I'm going to be respectful of your time because I know Nicole wanted me to cover how to get paid. So a couple of things that I want to mention about the designs before we get into this portion of the templates, let's go to my designs. So what I would encourage you or suggest to you is this. Once you start getting a lot of designs, like you see, I've got a lot of stuff here and I've got even more in my folders. So if you haven't started folders, I would add folders. So you see where it says over here, I'm hovering over to the right, it says new folder. So you can just simply click on it. You entitle it whatever you want. I'll just say sample and then okay. And then what you do is all the stuff that you created that's down here, you can simply click and drag it. So let's say, for example, I wanted to drag this. I'm just going to click and see how it overlays sample. And then I drop it and it's in sample. Then that way, as you start adding more stuff, you can get organized and you know where to find stuff. Because the more you start doing in Command, you'll start seeing all of the stuff and it may be a little overwhelming. And especially if you need to get in really quick and edit something, it's always good to have these folders that are created. So that's just a tip that I wanted to make sure all of you knew that you could basically organize your designs in Command. Questions about that? Okay. So then designs. The call out that I want to mention at the very bottom where it says collections, it always has the new designs. So I would periodically, I would encourage you to either look there on your dashboard when you first log into Command to see what's new. So it'll give you all of the stuff that's new in Command. So you just kind of go through that. The other thing that I wanted to highlight, I think it was in lead generation. Yeah, was it lead generation? Oh, they must have moved it. Let me see where they moved it to. Give me a moment. Oh, they moved it. That's interesting. Huh. So they had a magazine in here and they must have moved the location. It's not in there anymore. So let me show you this. Where did it go? Here. So they had a magazine in here. I'll have to figure out what happened to it, but it was called a personal brand design. And so it was basically a magazine that you could edit. And so this was kind of how it looked. It was super cool. So I don't know where they put that. I'll have to find that. But again, with designs, the key thing that I would mention about designs is that you want to definitely create your Facebook cover page or your Instagram cover page or whatever cover page. So you can go into business basics and then you can do social branding. And then you have your LinkedIn cover page for those of you that are in LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and then you can, and then for the Instagram, you could just go into any one of those and then you can change out the dimensions for the wide, or excuse me, for the narrow one for Instagram. But those are a couple of things I wanted to highlight about designs. Designs is pretty straightforward. Has everyone played with designs? You're comfortable with designs, or do I need to go any further about designs?
Played with.
Never seen it. But
Who said that?
whatever. I've never seen it, but if everybody else has, I don't mind skipping it.
I'll do it really quick. Yeah, I'll just do this one. So did you see where it had use at the top that I just clicked on?
Yes.
Okay. So you click on use if that's the one you want. So a couple of things I want to call out. On the left-hand side, it'll say images, text, icons, logos, and this is just the MLS listings that you can add to that. So that's a cool feature. Like any listings, regardless if they're yours or not, you can add those, especially if you're doing open house for another agent. You can always add to their collateral, if you will, marketing collateral. So then if I wanted to edit this, I would simply click on it, see how it hovers in red. So then here I could just click on this and I could edit that if I wanted to. I could move it. If I wanted to, let's say, and I think I clicked on it too many times. There we go. So say, for example, I wanted to add a text to this. So I would just click on text. And then it tells you if I want to do title, subtitle, body title, or if I want to upload something. So let's just say I want to do title. See how title popped in over there? So then I'm just going to move this up so you can see it. So the key thing that I want to stress with this, the best practice for editing information is to click on what we call the typewriter up top. So I click on this, and then instead of trying to finagle everything, I could just say, you know, this is Steve's page or whatever I want to say. Then I do that and then just hit save. And then I could stretch out this so it's up here if I wanted to do it. I could click on opacity, or if I wanted to change the color fill, I could change the color. So now it's gray. If I wanted to change it to red, I could do red, bold it, italicize it, bullet pointed, and then the font and size. So that's a quick tip in terms of how to edit it, but I'm more than happy to do a one-on-one to go into more detail. The other best practice is just making sure that you save it or name it, save it, and it's going to auto save. I want to say every 30, 45 seconds or something like that. But I would still recommend that you save it periodically, hard save it, meaning go to file and then save, because you just want to make sure. You never know. I mean, for me up country, I know the power goes out quite frequently sometimes. So I just try to save it periodically, especially when I'm in command. But that's a quick and kind of dirty, if you will, overview of designs.
Thank you.
So I'm just not going to save that. Go into consumer really quick, and then I'm going to jump to how to get paid in command. And so to get out of here, I'm just going to click my X on the right-hand side. Now I'm back into command. And just for clarification, especially for Steve, I went from command to it's what it's called WeBrand. WeBrand is a third platform that's connected. And so when we were in designs, we were technically in the WeBrand database. Okay, so now consumer.
Okay, thank you.
So for the consumer, quick tip, agents, again, Teal is your friend, agent site pages. If you haven't configured it already, meaning your KW branded website, you would simply click on configure site to the right, and it's going to give you the option, I want to use the new KW agent site. You'd click on that, go to submit. And the key thing that I want to stress here is even if you've already have your website, me clicking on this is not changing or affecting anything that I do. So I just want to be very clear about that. So I'm just going to remind you about your compliance. You'd click on that, and then you'd go through the process of updating through the Kelly guide. The first thing you always want to do is confirm the domain. Even though I already have my domain, I'm going to always click confirm, and then you can go through there. For the first time people, you can go through the Kelly guide and just go in and update all of this information. So that's a quick overview of the consumer side. Questions or comments before I go to how to get paid? Okay. Next, the most important segment of today in terms of making sure you get paid in command. A couple of things. Let's start with the contact. So I like to tell people that everything begins with a contact, and that's absolutely true, because you can't do anything in command. You can't get paid until you actually have a contact in command. So once you have your contact, I'm just going to use Aaron. So the best practice is to actually click on that specific client. This is going to be the contact card that comes up. You see where it says opportunities? So opportunities here, it'll tell you the number of opportunities you have had with this client. If you have nothing there, then it means you got a fresh start, you're off to the races. So how you get a new opportunity is you click on opportunities and then you create the opportunity. When do you create the opportunity? There is different schools of thought about this. I would say once you start a two-way dialogue back and forth where this person is ready to buy or they're looking to buy in the next 6 to 7 months, then you create the opportunity. So that's what I would say. There's definitely different schools of thought. You do whatever works for you or whatever your coach is telling you. But I would say once you're kind of in that two-way conversation and you're going back and forth, I would immediately create an opportunity because you just don't want to lose momentum. So then you would create the opportunity. You have there's a couple of things I want to highlight. Because you're in the contact card already, it's a lot of information is going to be pre-populated. So that's why I call it a best practice, because it lessens the amount of data or information you have to put in. So you just need to decide if you're going to do listing or buyer. If this is a listing opportunity or buyer, we'll start with buyer. So then for the sake of training, we're only going to focus on the red teal, or excuse me, the red asterisk. But in a live situation, you would want to, complete as much information as possible. So you have the opportunity name. If you had a custom tag, you would do that. Whatever the budget is, we're just going to say 3% for the commission rate. And then you can figure out if you, what stage and or phase in the opportunity that relates to your sales pipeline, whether you're in the cultivating stage or if you're in the appointment stage. And then if it's a pre-qualification, you can go through that. So then you hit create.
Hey, Latasha,
Yes.
how do we know if we mark them as an opportunity, a lead, or a sales pipeline?
They're all one and the same. So the opportunity is this. The opportunity is the opportunity to sell them something. The sales pipeline is how you take that opportunity throughout the sales process. So it's essentially just different vernacular or different words to say, I'm running you through my sales funnel or my sales pipeline. I have an opportunity with this, and just like an everyday conversation, oh, I got an opportunity to be a guest speaker or whatever. So just if you look at it like that, an opportunity to sell you something. That's the way I like to say it.
But any of the tags that we have to do are fine.
Yes, yes. So whatever tags that work for you, I would encourage you to do that. Some people, and just for context, some people, when they're tagging people, they'll do something like, they'll say like, if I know that this person is in the 0 to 3 month time frame, and then they'll do like a 3 to 6 month, and then a 7 to 12 month, or whatever it is, they will do it like that. So you may want to do that. Or, for newer agents, maybe it is, you have a broader window. Maybe you have 0 to 6 months, and then 7 to, 12 months or 13. So just whatever works for you. So the date is going to show up in terms of what the opportunity date is. We're going to click on Aaron, and it's going to tell me something that I don't want to see. So hold on. And I'm not sure, can you still see my incognito window?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So back into contact once it loads. Then I'm going into Aaron again. Then I'm going to opportunities. This is the one that I already created. So I'm just going to go in here. So a couple of things in a live situation, all of your details, you would want to make sure that you get in there. Buyer profile, make sure you get all of that stuff in there if it applies. And then documents. In a live situation, you would go into documents, you would start a transaction. What that does is it creates a room in DocuSign. Basically within DocuSign, you are assigned a room for that specific client, and then you can upload all of your documents into that room. So now I'm just going to go to offer and commission because that's the next phase that you would be in. Now, keep in mind, in a live situation, you're going through your checklist of getting that person to the sold status. So let's say you get that person to the sold status, or to the point where on the buyer side, they're ready to make an offer. So then you go to offer and commissions tab where it says add new offer, click on new offer, initial offer. You can also, the best practice is to, if by this time you know the address, so then you click on the address. If you definitely, you should know this by now. Dustin, you had a question.
Yeah, sorry, it's just in reference to DocuSign. Like, we're using zip forms for a lot of our stuff. Like, are we going to be using DocuSign as well?
So it's up to you. If you're still using zip forms and you can use zip forms, that's fine. Just make sure that you and your broker are on board with that. And as long as you guys are good to go and you're using zip forms, you don't need to migrate to DocuSign. The reason why I say DocuSign is because DocuSign is connected to Command. So that's why I mentioned specifically DocuSign. That answer your question?
Yeah, sort of. I mean, we just, everything we've been training on right now has been all zip forms.
Okay. So then if zip forms is your preferred platform to get signatures, then I would keep using zip forms. Okay. If you ever want to change, you can definitely change. But the only reason why I say DocuSign again is that is the third-party app that Keller Williams has connected to Command, not zip forms.
Gotcha. So yeah, okay, all good.
Okay. So then create an offer. So then here, I added this address because this is my kind of my go-to for playing purposes. So in the buyer situation, in order to connect the listing that that Aaron wants to purchase, I need to select KWLS. Keep in mind here where it says only my listings, some agents get, they forget to select all. So make sure you select all, because otherwise, if you don't have any listings and you're trying to attach something, you may think that something's wrong. So just make sure you do all listings. And so I'm just going to click this one because this is kind of my one that I've been playing with. So I'm going to select this. And then from there, I need to move this and move a bunch of things. Sorry, Steve, you're getting kicked out. Okay, so then party. Oh. So then seller, you would put that information in there. I'm just going to do a drop down. I'll just do this to put something in there. But in a live situation, obviously you put everything in there correctly, pre-approved, pre-qualified, and then whoever the representative is for the seller or the listing. So I'm just going to put myself here. But in general, you would put all of the correct information. Then terms. So then terms, remember it was $415. So then whatever the terms are for this offer in terms of this is my buyer, they're going to do, I'll say $215 in cash, and they're going to finance $200 to get me to my sales price. So then whatever earnest amount, I put that in there, whatever that is. Option fee doesn't really apply to you. Option fee was originally included for the Texas market. And so option fee is not earnest money. Within the state of Texas and other states, the option fee is this: for the buyer, they are saying to the seller that if I back out of this deal for any reason, I'm agreeing to pay you X amount of dollars. So that is specific to the Texas market. So it really doesn't come into play in Hawaii. However, if it does, you need to reach out to your broker. I definitely cannot advise you on that, but just wanted to have you understand what that is. So then if the seller was going to agree to any costs, I'm just going to say they're going to contribute $1,000 for the settlement costs, and then agent analysis. So the pros, this is cash heavy. And then whatever the cons are, and then summary. The buyer wants to close in 2 weeks. So then I'm gonna save it. Why am I doing that? Is because you're going to be submitting, or this offer is going to be submitted to the listing agent and the person that's listing the home. So you want to make sure that you call out all of the key things about this deal that makes it, you know, better than the other ones potentially. So then let's just say in a live situation, this offer now we know it's accepted. So we're just going to accept it. If it wasn't, we could go back and do edit. There's 3 ellipsis dots on the side. You can always go back in and edit that deal and then, you know, send it again. So then where it says manage commission, that's how you get paid. So here basically is all of the information that you need to put in to get paid. So you'll see the red sign. Remember, teal is your friend, red is not. So we're missing the contract date. So we click on edit. Then we say whatever the contract date is. I'm just going to throw out a date of, or put in March 1st and then save. So then now you have to list out all of your information in terms of your deductions. So you want to edit payment. Let's say you have a TC or a TM. They would go in and do this for you. But if you are doing this yourself and you don't have a TC or a TM, transaction coordinator, transaction manager, if you did, they would go into add, and then they would go into deductions. Another thing I want to call out is if this was an inside referral that you were sharing with someone or an outside referral, you put that in there in terms of that information. So let's just say for deductions, we need to add our TM or TC. So we pay them $500. We would also need to know their tax ID, whether it's an SIN or IN, and then the number. Then whatever the description needs to be their name and then pay to. I'm just putting Cheryl in here because I've been playing with it. It's an automatic drop for me. And then wherever the check is being mailed to or that person's address. So I'm just going to do the office and then the phone, just the office phone number. And then I'm going to add this. So then I'll show you save changes. So now I've got the additional deduction 500 right there. So it shows you that. Let's go to the summary part of it. So the summary here, you see pay to the office. That's basically your cap and royalties that you owe the office based on whatever your agreements are. And then paying to the agents. With this, you would get a little over 7,000. And then deductions would be 500 for my TC. There's a couple other things that you need to add, which are your E&O. E&O means legal fees. So any legal fees that you need to deduct from here, you put your legal fees in there. If you are part of the productivity coaching, you would say PC. And then if Nicole is your PC, you would put Nicole in her name. You don't need to have anything else at that point. And then all important GET. So GET, if you're on Maui, if you're on Big Island, wherever, but GET, and then you hit save. And then all of these notes will be in there for Shelby to create the DA, your distribution allocation. And that goes to the title company and everyone else so that you actually get a check on day of close. So then you hit submit. It does not go anywhere until you hit submit. If you don't hit submit, Shelby does not get this. You have to submit this, hit submit, in order for it to go to Shelby. Otherwise, you're not going to get paid. So I'm going to stop talking right there. For the buyer side, questions or comments?
What if you made a mistake and hit submit? And obviously this was a practice one. I mean, somebody would know that there's a mistake, right?
So no, they won't know that it's a mistake. So what you need to do is if you hit submit in error, I would immediately email Shelby and say, Shelby, hey, I just hit submit. Tell her what it is and what you did. And then that way she can go in and delete it on her end.
Steve, were you thinking though, what if there's an error and you didn't know that you made an error?
I was just thinking like they had to be referenced to something else. Like what if I just went in there every couple of weeks and threw $5,000? I mean, obviously I would never do that, but what's the default, like, they compare stuff to that nobody
Like a-
else gets paid for?
Betting.
Okay, so, oh, I see what you're saying. So here's the thing, you're not gonna ever get a check when you're not supposed to. Bottom line. Because, and here's the reason. The reason is once you hit submit, it goes to Shelby. She creates a DA distribution. It then goes to the lender. The lender knows if it's a bogus deal or not. So you would never get a check out of the sky. It just wouldn't happen. So
Yeah,
yeah.
no, I just curious. Thank you. That helps a lot.
No, you're fine. You're totally fine. You're totally fine.
And then can I have one more question?
Absolutely.
So what if I was this horrible at opportunities that never plugged my buyer in, and at the very end I want to get paid? I could just go straight to that, right? Or would I have to go backtrack all the
So you
steps?
would have to backtrack everything. So the key thing that I want to stress is that as soon as you get into a good two-way conversation with someone, I would immediately create the opportunity. So at least you start the process. Because here's the thing, you never want to get to the point where you are closing on a deal that you're not getting paid for because you haven't done what you need to do, or your TC or TM hasn't done what they need to do. So you want to make sure that you create the opportunity, because then once you create the opportunity, let me show you this really quick to bring this home in terms of, so once you create the opportunity, when you go into the opportunity dashboard, you'll see where you are. And because all of this is in command, and hopefully you've also added your goals, it's going to track, where you are in terms of your potential earning potential and what you could have at the end of the year. So it's going to pull this, it helps you monitor or keeps track of where you are in terms of in the sales process. So I would say as soon as you start having a really good two-way conversation, I would immediately create an opportunity for that person.
Okay, thank you.
So you can track it and stay on top. Any other comments or questions? I do want to cover listing really quick and then I'm done. So I'm going to go to one, I think, let's do this one. Let's do this. Let me do this. Don't want to do this one. Let me see if I can pull this one up. Okay. So this is the listing side. A couple of things I want to highlight about the listing. First of all, you see where at the top where it says select from listings. So on the listing side, that's where you select the listing. Remember, the buyer side wasn't, it was further down here. So then you would select from listing and then make sure it says all, and then you would select whatever the listing is. So I'm just going to stick with this one for now. And then the offers. So then you would go through the same process in terms of adding the offer, changing it, doing whatever you want to do. Let's say on the listing side, let's say you've got multiple offers to present to your client. So let's say all of these are offers, which they are. What I would do is I would select all of them, and then you can click on compare offers. And then it gives you a side-by-side comparison of all of the offers on the table for this. In times past, you as the agent or your admin or whomever, you literally had to create this on your own. Now you can, with a click of a button, see everything. You can download it. You can email it directly to your client.
That's pretty
good. So that's a game changer for sure. So let's go back to offers. So then again, you would just go to manage commissions, and then from commissions, you would go and make sure that that's complete. What I would do is just make sure when you go to your offer or your managed commissions, you kind of check them periodically, because if it's still in teal, that means you need to do something. You need to submit it, but just make sure you hit submit, because I can't tell you the number of agents that say to me, well, Shelby didn't get it. And I'm like, well, let's go in there. Let's see, did you actually hit submit? And come to find out, it's still in teal because they didn't hit submit. All right, questions? No questions?
So many, but we'll do it another time.
I'm trying to think of some good ones. No, I was kidding. Yeah, I'll have to go play around with it. like you said.
Okay, but I am here. Robert's here to help, my counterpart. But anytime you get into a situation and you need help or guidance on how to get paid, reach out to us. For those of you that want a deeper dial in designs or campaigns or Facebook, connecting it to Command or Smart Plans, just reach out to myself or Robert, and we'll be more than happy to help you. The key thing I would say is just, combining the designs with the Smart Plans is the most effective strategy to kind of jumpstart your business and get the word out so you can be top of mind to people. Anything
Cool.
else?
This was awesome. This was good. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. So we are here to help. If you have any questions, reach out to me and I'd be more than happy to help.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.